Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase podcast. Today we have with us Robin Sherman. Robin is a transformational coach and a happiness trainer. She's all about getting happy from the inside out. She helps midlifers break free from self-defeating habits, limiting beliefs, unhealthy thought patterns, and enabling them to find their missing pieces and enjoy deeper fulfillment and thrive like never before. I like your term, midlifers. I never heard that before. Welcome to the show, Robin. It's nice to have you here.
Thanks for having me, Jill. I'm happy to be here.
So how did you get started in all of this? Tell us your story.
Gee, it started as a child. I always was intuitive. Mm-hmm. And, just my whole childhood from, childhood through my adolescence into much of my adulthood, it all followed me. Some of the neglect that I grew up with. And I was always somebody that, early on, I used to seek out self-help books and always had an interest in holistic health. Mm-hmm. And I started out in the corporate world for 15 years because that's where I went to, so I could leave home and make money. And I did. I was very successful, but it just wasn't for me. And then I got into body work, and mm-hmm. I was a neuromuscular myofascial body worker. I helped a lot of people. And, I should back up a little. Before that, when I was in the corporate world and here I was so successful, I thought, there's something missing. And I went and I found a therapist. I interviewed a couple different ones until I felt like one resonated with me. And I was actually with him for years, and he helped me to understand what had happened. And it was great. He was a very good therapist, and I did get a lot out of it, but I always felt that there was something missing. And I started meditating years ago with Deepak Chopra and Oprah Winfrey and their guided meditations. And, when I did it, it was great. And I was inconsistent. And as our son got older, I decided, and I also had surgery and became partially paralyzed on my left side. It was hard for me to do body work. Mm-hmm. I decided there has to be more to meditation. And I still felt that, I was still noticed patterns that didn't feel good to me. And so I ended up, taking a meditation course through Deepak, mm-hmm. and then became certified. And the significant changes in my life really opened my eyes. It's a powerful tool. And that led me into Ayurveda and then coaching. Mm-hmm. And so here I am. And I've always loved to help people. I mean, that's why I was in body work for so many years. I helped a lot of people avoid surgery. And I love to help people, and I have my own life experience.
What kind of body work were you doing? I don't think I've ever.
Myofascial and neuromuscular,
So what does
deeper
that mean?
body work. Neuromuscular work. Do you ever hear of trigger point therapy?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, you're working on deep muscles and trigger points. Fascia is, if you've ever cut open a chicken and you see that thin membrane,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's fascia, and that covers everything in our body, all of our organs, and if it's just like if you would pull a sweater at either end, it distorts it.
Mm-hmm.
And when your fascia is tight, it distorts everything in your body. I mean, so it puts thousands of pounds of pressure on organs and muscles, and that's why people have so much pain often. And so releasing that and releasing those trigger points in the muscles and right near the tendons makes a big difference.
Interesting. How would you know if you had tight fascia?
Most of us do. I mean, just by our everyday living and our body mechanics and the way we walk. And how would you know? If you have chronic physical pain,
Mm-hmm.
often it can come from the fascia and your muscles. Even sometimes people who think they have arthritis can get a lot of relief. Sometimes they don't even have arthritis. It could be caused from, muscular pain and from the fascia because it pulls on all those joints. I mean, how do our bones move, through our muscles?
Mm-hmm.
And if they get restricted, things aren't working, aren't flowing.
I've never heard of that. It's just like so fascinating to me. So,
And the thing is, when you work with body work, people come in, and most people with body work, there's a lot of emotional stuff that comes up with that. And so I felt like I was coaching way back then before I ever even knew what a coach did. And I'd also been through therapy. So it followed suit that, it led me down to the road to the meditation and coaching.
so does your coaching now, how do you do your coaching? Is it in groups or is it one-on-one? Is it both?
Both.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's mostly online, right?
Excuse me.
It's mostly online, correct?
Yes, most of the coaching is all online. And
Okay.
I do teach meditation. I just got done teaching a course in person. I just got done teaching a master class in person. So I am going to be doing more of that, but I prefer to do the coaching online.
Okay. And so you're teaching just meditation, or is it like how does your coaching look? Let's ask it that way.
How does my coaching look? Let's see. I start off, I blend the tools that I use, which is meditation, Ayurveda,
Hmm.
and then I have four cornerstones um, that I work with. And I start off with, your purpose, what's your true north? What are your real desires? What are your values? And what's your mission in life? And so we start off with that. And then we also start off with the meaning, what kind of stories are you telling yourself? What are your thought patterns? What's not serving you and what is serving you right now? So we try to, free my clients from the endless mind chatter that doesn't serve them and learn how to do that. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. And did you know that 90% of those thoughts we've had yesterday, the day before, the week before, the month before, and 80% of those are negative. So, learning how to free yourself from that is significant.
It makes such a huge difference. It's just the art of catching yourself. when you're running into that loop. It's like there's triggers that we all have that cause us to start down paths that don't serve us, that don't serve anybody. They're just this negative energy thing that we just kind of find ourselves in if we're not consciously looking to change those habits. And they're really just thought habits.
And those thought habits, yes, those thought habits can make our lives miserable. And the way I look at coaching and meditation, and when we take care of ourselves, not only do we take care of ourselves, we take care of those we love, and we take care of the world. Because when we have those thought patterns, how we behave and the choices we make reflect from that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important to learn how to be able to, stop those thought patterns and replace them.
Yeah, it's amazing. I've seen firsthand how much it changes just how you feel. If you have negative thought patterns, they affect your relationships, they affect your health, your organs, just everything about who you are is controlled by your thoughts. And if you change your thought, the way that you think, and the opposite can happen. You can have phenomenal health, and you can have like opportunities that I would say that you can't imagine, but if you can imagine them, those opportunities can happen for you. And there's a lot of science behind that. It sounds woo-woo, but it's really science. It's like it's so much of those modalities that people scoff at are coming up with more and more evidence to prove that it's it's what forms reality for you. What you think about forms your reality.
Certainly does. And, I think one way to bring presence to it is to think of it this way. Certain thoughts you're having, or choices you're making, or ways that you might be behaving, does it make you vibrate low or vibrate high? Right?
Yeah. And feeling that, the connection between your brain and your gut. So it's like, how is the rest of my body feeling with this decision or with these thoughts? Because our emotions create chemical reactions in our bodies that create a physical response every time. It's not like some of the time, it's every time. Sometimes we cry, sometimes we laugh, sometimes we shake uncontrollably and don't understand why. It's hormones. They're doing something for you. They're wanting you to behave in a different way. They're trying to evoke something from you or teach you something. Or
yes, there's so many lessons that we don't pay attention to it. But if we really do, if we pay attention to some of these signals, it leads us down the path we're supposed to go.
And where most people have been trained to just go talk to their doctor when they're not feeling right, or when something is hurting or causing them discomfort. And most doctors aren't really trained to look at the underlying cause of why you're experiencing these things. They can just give you chemicals that will mask it so you can get on with doing whatever you were doing that was causing these problems to begin with.
Most doctors are trained that way, with a protocol, unfortunately. Now, there are some, functional doctors out there, some that, want to look at the whole body, and they realize the emotions and your thoughts have almost everything to do with what's going on.
Yeah, when they tell you it's all in your head, they're absolutely right. It is all in your head. It starts there. And it can be causing any number of physical issues in your body. It's probably can be directly related to your thoughts, your thought patterns, the way that you think about things in life in general. And just like it makes me excited because I see so many coaches coming forward and providing support to these people. And it I just know firsthand how much it can change someone's life if they can just get control of the way they're thinking. And
So do I.
meditation is amazing.
It's powerful. It is powerful because I went through that before coaching, and I was just absolutely amazed and amazed that, here I live in the house with my husband and son who were not meditating, but because I was, it started to change them because it was changing dynamics. And then, I taught them meditating, and they don't do it as much as I do, but they do. And my son's in college, and he has found it helpful. But it is a powerful tool. I am so thankful that my path led me to that, and
It
to
can
the
help
coach.
you. Yeah. And it can help you in areas that are like you might not think about it, but even since I've been meditating, my sleep has been able to be improved because you can take yourself to a place where you can recognize what's happening in your brainwave patterns, and you can shift it so that you can relax and just fall asleep. Whereas when you just live, when you're just living, and I use that term loosely because I don't really think people that go through life unintentionally are really living to their fullest extent. They're just existing. But if you can tune in to what's going on in your head and control some of that, and meditation is a great way to just get in touch with what's happening up there, just to stop. And it's
Well,
not so much not thinking of anything, though that's part of it, but training your brain to focus on something, one point, one thing, breathing.
is that what kind of meditation you do? You follow breath?
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do guided meditation. Sometimes I just sit still and listen and see what comes up. It's like there's so many ways to do it. So how do you work with people as far as meditation goes? Is it guided? Is it still? What are your thoughts on that?
I got certified through Chopra, and it's called primordial sound meditation.
Mm-hmm,
And I always call it silent mantra meditation.
mm-hmm,
And what's happened is you are given your specific mantra based on the day you were born, the time
mm-hmm,
you were born, and where you were born.
mm-hmm,
And it's in Sanskrit. And there's three parts to the mantra. And when Sanskrit is like a vibratory alphabet, so to speak. And
mm-hmm,
it's been around for thousands of years. And when you silently repeat this mantra, it's more of a vibration, primordial sound. So it's the sound that the universe was making at the time and that you were born and where you were born. And this is all very true. So many people think it's hokey, and it's not. Primordial sounds are the vibration of the universe. And so what that does is, as realize that your thinking thoughts are making a shopping list when you're meditating, you just gently come back to your mantra. And it helps to calm down your nervous system.
mm-hmm.
And the thought being from the sound the universe was making when you were born, to bring you back to your unconditioned self. And then, it's very interesting. I love teaching the class, and the people that show up for the class I really enjoy them. people are ready for change when they come to that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to be said for having clients that are ready.
They're your people.
They are my people.
That's fascinating. I never knew that about um, the vibrational part.
There is a
Or
special,
mantras.
and I've been trying to look for it. It was on Netflix or Amazon, and it was about primordial sounds. And it was very interesting. It's a documentary. And I can't find it. It was, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago that it was out there, and it has to be there somewhere.
I'll go look that up too. It's so fascinating. I know that vibrations can heal organs and your body in general, or in your thoughts, and it's just because everything is vibrations. It's all energy. Energy is vibration by definition, and it's all electrons, which is vibrations, and it's how everything is put together. It's how everything interacts, and everything is always vibrating. And we talk about higher, low vibrations, but it's a real thing. It's how your molecules that create the physicality of who you are are interacting with each other, which in turn is generating energy through your whole body. And if you can control that through meditation and using a mantra, is like, if that's what mantras are, and I never knew that. It's just like so fascinating. Robin, you've just taught me so many new things today.
Yeah.
This
And
short
for
time.
people who think it's hokey, you can think of it like this. When somebody yells, how does your body feel? Do you constrict? Yes. Do you want to run away? Yes. And when somebody laughs or says, I love you, or, there's joy, how does your body feel? Talk about a vibration.
Mhm.
And so if anybody thinks it's hokey, I want them to take a look at it, think of that and think of it that way.
And then there's the work that oh, I can't remember his name, but the Japanese gentleman who did all the work on water and talking to water nicely, it forms one way, and if you talk to water um, in a different way, it wilts up, or um, it forms really ugly crystals.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
there's the stuff about plants. When you talk to plants, they grow and flourish, and if you yell at them, they shrink and die. It's because they're mostly water, and human beings are mostly water. So whether you talk to yourself or other people are talking to you, it's really important that you're around people that are speaking positive things into the world, because it really does affect how you feel. And
Yes. And that's how we can all make a difference, by taking care of ourselves, because then how we come out into the world changes the world that way.
yeah, and your
Our work's so
example with
important.
it is really important. And just changing one person changes the people around them, and those people change. Like your son, he's in college now. He's interacting with a whole different circle of people, but because you changed yourself, his interactions are going to be different. And your husband, if he goes to work, the people that he's around, he's he's changing. And so,
Exactly.
and then they're changing, and then the next people are changing, and it just like mushrooms out in such a cool way. That's really, it
And
really
just
does.
look what you're doing. You're bringing, all these transformational, coaches and leaders into your podcast so people can listen and hear. And so you're changing the world.
I,
I love this work.
I love it too. It's just, to me, it's it just speaks to the possibilities that the world really can be kinder, gentler, and more sustainable for us all if we would just all take some time and do what's best for us. and it's okay, because if we change ourselves, we're changing everything, which is just like so cool.
It is. You know, it reminds me of in the end of meditation, there was 4 intentions that I say, and I was taught this, and one of them is, it's my favorite one, lightness of being, right? Because we tend to put so much meaning and be so serious over so many things that don't really matter and aren't even really true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a good reminder, lightness of being.
I love that. And you're right. So many things that we focus on that cause us to become stuck in our lives, they're not even real. Nothing is really real unless we create it with our imaginations. And if if what you're experiencing isn't the life that you dream of, then you need to start imagining better.
And get the guidance to help you too.
Right, right. Because it's available now, and it hasn't always been the case.
Yeah.
Just like 5 years ago, when I was looking around trying to get help, I couldn't find anybody. I live in a small community, but I couldn't even find a therapist. There just was no one. And you couldn't find people online because, coaching really wasn't a thing 5 years ago, not like it is now.
Yeah, I didn't
Now,
believe. I heard of it and I thought, well, what's that? And I had therapy for a lot of years, and I did have a good therapist. And I have to say, therapy and coaching is very different.
yeah, they are.
Therapy to me, this is the way I look at it, is therapy helps us understand how we got where we are,
Mm-hmm.
and coaching helps us get to where we want to go.
Yeah, I like that. It's so true because and while I think you do need to look sometimes at how you got in this situation so you don't get there again.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I think both are good. It just depends where you're at and what's needed at the time.
Yeah. And hiring a coach is like it's a no-brainer. If your car is having problems and you're not a mechanic, you take it to the car shop because they're an expert in that area. And if you need help with, your mental health, if you're not happy, you've got mental health problems. I'm sorry, but that's just reality for me.
And I think most anybody could use help along the way. And there's nothing weak about getting help. That shows strength.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more people see that now than, like you said, 5 years ago, or even when I started in therapy years ago, that was sort of like oof, you know,
There's something wrong with you that you need help.
yeah, exactly.
And even if you did go to a therapist, I can remember going to a therapist a couple of different times in my life, but I didn't even know what to do with them. It's like I don't I am so lost. I have no idea what I need to ask you or what to do. And I didn't really get the feeling that they knew either. Like, okay, so I'll just stay stuck in this spot. But one
I
was when
think
I had first gotten
why.
divorced, and I was just like, I was really lost.
Yeah, when I went to look for a therapist years ago, I clearly remember I went to a couple different ones, and you would have a complimentary session to see if you would work together. And when I came across this therapist, David, we were talking about, a little bit about my childhood. And I said something and he responded back. And it was like the first time in my life that I felt that somebody understood me. And I totally connected. And I knew that he was the therapist for me. And I didn't have to think about what would I say, or what do I talk about? It just, it just happened. It was very validating for me. And which is why, most all coaches, including myself, have a complimentary session, because it's important to see, if you're a fit, if you can work together.
Mm-hmm. It's really important. And it's for both sides. The person coming to you may not feel you're a great fit, or may feel that you're a great fit, but you might feel like, no, this person's not my person. But you can give them, other options too. But it is a great way to see whether you connect or not. Mm-hmm. I know that you have a guide that you give to people. It's called Happiness Habits. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah. So I took a class, became certified through Marcy Shimoff for Happy for No Reason. And so this happiness checklist that I have is, a checklist about different happiness habits that you can start to form that help your inner happiness, because our inner happiness creates our outer happiness. It's all about, when people think of happy, they think of, a lot of money or all the external things. And, it's great to have those things, but it's great to have them when we all, and when we're already happy from the inside out, because then we bring our happiness to that, rather than, those are not long-term happiness. So that's what this happiness checklist is about.
That's great. And people can find it on your website?
Yes. If they go onto my website and they email me, I will send them a copy.
That's wonderful. And your website's robinsherman.com?
robinsherman.com. Mm-hmm.
And we'll put that in the show notes. So, Robin, what's the one thing you want to leave the audience with today?
Well, I guess I would like to say, if you think that your situation, if things will never change, I'm here to tell you that that's not true. There are options in life, and you can choose the options that you want, and you can change your life. A lot of things happen to, a lot of people that are hard. And unfortunately, that is life. But we can change. We can evolve, and we can even be happy in the midst of this chaos. And you can release a lot of those feelings that you think you never can get rid of. Just that there's
so empowering.
There's options for people. And, I would just I want to inspire people to be able to, grab those options, allow themselves to feel a little discomfort, so that way they can release it.
Yes.
That
makes total sense. It's an empowering thought that everyone has options, and you have the power to make changes in your life, and help's available if you need it.
Yes, there's a lot of great avenues and a lot of great coaches and therapists. And so just start somewhere, little by little.
Yeah. But do start.
Yes, start. Moving forward is the best way to get unstuck. To just make a choice and take one baby step at a time.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Robin.
Thanks for having me. This was wonderful.
It was.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the U World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.